still feels a little for show for me. Still feels like baseball writers thinking they've uncovered the Watergate scandal to get some clicks, to be honest with you, Bab. How you doing with this early stages of inspection that's found one Seattle reliever to have too much rosin on his glove hand?
Yeah, they're not going to find what they think they are going to find.
Right.
And it's honestly, if this continues like through the entire second half of the season, it's going to be a big problem. I don't see it going on in 2022 at all because of all of this backlash. And it's one thing if 4 out of every 5 pitchers you're checking has something on them, right? Because then you're doing your job. But right now, you just look foolish, and the entire league looks foolish. And these poor umpires are getting thrown under the bus. These guys are getting booed because they're doing their job. And they shouldn't be the ones being booed. And technically, it's Major League Baseball that's being booed by this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But these poor guys are out there on the field. They're hearing whatever obscenities are yelled out from the third row because homeboys had $16 beers. Yeah, and they're umps. Like, they hear it, right? They get worn out at every level. Yeah, that's just part of the job. But this is something it's like they're literally enforcing something that they shouldn't be. And it's coming up empty. And a little rosin, you mean the stuff that's actually kept on the mound, and that is your big we gotcha. Like, no, you put that there. Like, it's okay. So I didn't remove my glove off my hand to make sure it was completely off my wrist. Come on. And it's just, I think it's foolish. I think you're right. Like, good on the Giants fans for booing. They wanted to give some acknowledgement to their guys, and then you're having to stop them at the toll booth before they can pass go. It just and not only that, and it's how they do it too. It seems so like elementary schoolyard security is checking you for you bring rocks into class or something. Like, you keep bringing in salamanders from the the kickball field. Like, I'm checking you for everything. Let me look through your backpack. Let me pat you down. It's for nothing. And you're right. It is for show. And it's not showing what I think they think it is showing.
It isn't. Like, there's these little statistical anomalies and spin rate anomalies and changes that are happening. But I think they're realizing they're not uncovering. It kind of reminds me of the steroid era when everybody wanted to put the blame on the big home run hitters or the big strikeout guys. What about the middling average dude who's up here who's suddenly throwing 4 miles per hour harder than he used to? Like, that's who maybe we're uncovering from this. And sure, maybe that's good. We respect that these aces still have the high strikeout numbers, but it shouldn't be happening for everybody all the time. Well, okay, but you were kind of witch hunting the aces and, using them as your example at first, like freaking Tom Verducci, Sports Illustrated, another guy they're throwing on TV like he's a broadcaster when he's a print dude. Using Garrett Richards as an example. The so dominant Garrett Richards. Spin rate way down and average way up against him. He is one of those guys that's having it. He's article in The Athletic about he's having to adjust to how he's pitching again. I think we're starting to realize, though, some of this was more about grip than we thought. It wasn't about his performance as much as just trying to hold the dang thing. Because, we've uncovered Garrett Richards' spin rates are way down. Because I was really worried Garrett Richards was going to change the game. Yeah. He was the guy that I was, this is, him. He's going to really change how the game's played here right now. Garrett Cole, however, and his $324 million deal has changed the game. And for a few weeks, he was getting hit hard. A 4.65 ERA in June. Then he went through a complete game shutout in Houston over the weekend. And his spin rates dropped less than 100 rotations per minute on each pitch. Less than 100 isn't phasing me much. His changeup dropped less than 4 RPM. He's only seen a 4 RPM change in his spin rate. And I keep getting told, someone forced down my throat, in fact, on Twitter, well, it doesn't really change velocity much. It's supposed to change movement more than velo. Because, when Max Scherzer got inspected, that first very active weekend of inspections, when he threw a nice little fit that I loved, he was still throwing 95, 96, right? Like, nothing changed. Garrett Cole, by the way, spelled differently than Garrett Richards. Gerrit for Cole versus the ET. It's like all the ways to spell Caitlin. Just trying to keep track of that. MLB draft going on right now as we speak, Bab. And I meant to check the over-under on how many guys named Cody or Colby were going to get drafted. Or of which there'd be more of. If you had to guess in the MLB draft right now, more guys named Cody or Colby?
I'm going Cody.
More Codys.
Yeah,
I'm feeling safe
just a
on
safe
more
bet.
Codys.
It's a safe bet.
Verducci does use Trevor Bauer as a famous example of spin rates changing and climbing and dropping and changing again.
Very famous example.
And that's fair. Okay. He noted that people are hitting 320 off of his fastball in June after it dropped a couple of hundred RPMs, even though I was told it's going to affect, like, make up your mind here, folks. It's going to affect breaking balls more than fastballs. But here's the fastball being used as an example. I'm wondering maybe, though, if Trevor Bauer had some other distractions on his mind this month, he knew we're coming down the pipeline legally for him.
It could have definitely affected it. And I was going to bring that up, too, also. Pitching is such a mental game. Who's to say that because they know they're getting checked, it's not affecting their abilities on the mound and to actually make those pitches? Because you're right, there was a bit of a drop off in the beginning, but we're seeing pitchers kind of come back and readjust. And if it was all about foreign substances and all about spin rate dropping, then we wouldn't see them be able to adjust this fast.
No, amen. Early on, first couple weeks after enforcement, spin rate and arsenal changes. People are changing, at least in a 2-3 game sample, changing what they're throwing a bit. But like scouting reports change what you're throwing per game. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that's tough. That's different. You know, so there's been some individual pitch spin rate and usage change, but nothing across the board. No blanket change outside of Garrett Richards. Like, okay, Trevor Bauer and Walker Buehler saw drops everywhere. I wanted to feed some chum into the water here for you on this one, Bab. But then Buehler has been great in 4 of his last 6 outings. Like he was good against the Giants last week, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay. All right. Freddie Peralta of the Brewers. Spin rate is down on his slider. He's throwing it less often. He's still getting an 80% whiff rate on it. You know, Charlie Morton's sinker spin rate down over 200 RPMs is one of the biggest jumps of anybody. And he's barely using it now. But that was for 1 game versus the Mets. Like, again, the game plans change pitch usage. Chris Bassett saw drops in all of his spin rates, but he's still been great. Named an all-star. Taijuan Walker saw drops. He still held the Phillies to 1 run in the game where his spin rates dropped. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get that spin rates have an effect on movement, on break. And even they'll tell you in Major League, I'll put Barbasol on one and get a little jalapeno in my nose here. Ump's looking at me real good. Any of it will add another extra 2 inches break to your curveball. Like, we know that, but that's the reason people are hitting 230. Like, that's the reason the strikeout rate has changed. They acted like they fixed it. We uncovered it. We fixed it. We finally got it taken care of. All those sports writers, we did it. We're the ones. We did it.
There's a reason why they're writers. There's a reason why they're writers. And it goes into spin rate it's not as important as they made it seem. And that's what we're seeing by these spin rates being down, but pitchers still having success. It means the spin rate wasn't that important. And does it matter? Yeah. Does it affect things? Sure. Of course. I mean, it's physics. It affects things. You can adjust one thing, a small increment of measurement, and it'll affect everything, right? Butterfly effect. Yeah. It's physics. That's just what happens. Now, it's almost like, and I use this, I think, on the last show, plugging a hole in a car tire with a piece of bubble gum. Like the spin rate isn't going to fix the batting average issue. Learning how to hit is going to fix the batting average issue. Learning how to beat a shift, learning how to lay a bunt during a crazy shift. Like, how about that? How about having guys actually get infield hits again? Which you see every now and again because of the shift, but not as often. And that would help batting average.
Think about it. We talked on this show about how, they're going to experiment with moving the mound back a foot in the Atlantic League because I think that'll help reduce the strikeouts. That's the velocity of our time that's causing it. Well, wait. So the spin rate isn't going to affect velocity that much. It's more the movement. It's like they keep moving the target, moving the goalpost of what the fix is, what the problem is. We're not really addressing the issues when it's really the front offices who are going to fix this. If they determine who they're going to pay, what they're going to pay big money to, like there was a list of another athletic article, maybe Jason Stark, the 5 fixes for the batting average and strikeout problem in baseball. Item 4 down at 4 was affecting who gets paid the big money. Like, no. One up top. Like that's your trickle down effect right there. So until they start blaming themselves a little better, the front offices, they could do all this little rule tweaking and inspections of foreign substances they want. Nothing's going to trickle down that'll really affect this. At the same time, it's like, that's what we want. People are going to aim for strikeouts and home runs. When Roger Dorn walked over to the Wild thing, he didn't say, hey, get this MFer to ground out. No, strike this MFer out. Like, we don't play the music from The Natural, for flicking one in the right center field. We play it for light tower power. But there's things underneath it that this little rule change inspection isn't going to fix.
I think you're really onto something though with the money. As with everything, you follow the money, and that's where you can usually find the answers to all the problems, right? So if they stop putting their monetary emphasis on home runs and place the monetary emphasis back on batting average like it used to be in the days of Will Clark, Tony Gwynn, then guys will, oh, you mean in order for me to make more money, I have to hit better? Oh, okay, let me adjust. Instead of these true outcomes and how you don't care about strikeouts anymore, let's see, batting average down, caring about strikeouts equally is down. Gee, is there any correlation there? Care about striking out and that'll help your batting average problem.
Yeah. Well, now that we've complained about the effort to hit home runs all the time, let's talk about the home run derby, shall we?
Sure.
So that's the other thing. There's no put it in play derby. There's no triples derby. They don't do the fastest man competition in baseball. We line up. Everybody's going to watch the home run derby. There's some natural correlation to, chasing the dinger that we seem to fight. Like you can't enjoy yourself type of thing in baseball too.